Good morning and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration, here to enlighten, inspire, and build up humanity, especially my 1,374 subscribers. Thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you're here, because if you weren't here, what would be the point in me speaking to the YouTube video? There wouldn't be a point, because you wouldn't be here. Anyway, like and subscribe. And I have a little clip from Ben Shapiro, I think that's how you pronounce him, and he speaks about something that is very dear to my heart, which I agree with completely, and I'm going to play it for you. Listen to this. I can't play the video because I don't know how to do that, but you can hear it.
I don't understand for the life of me. I don't understand for the life of me why we are telling women that their best and greatest superpower, creating another human from their own body, is less important than working as an associate law clerk. Working 2,100 billable hours, checking footnotes, is somehow more important than raising the next generation of human beings that you...
Yeah, that's what we've been telling women since the 60s, since we had women's liberation. Go out there and do it, baby. You can have it all. You've got your own cigarette now, baby. You've come a long way. That was the Virginia Slim commercial. Hey, but the narrative back then was smoke cigarettes because it's cool. And now look at it. It's killing people. Actually, the tobacco companies got sued. Excuse me. So, what was right and correct and promoted then is now considered very dangerous and harmful to human beings. So think about that. So lately they've been promoting that a woman needs to go out there, put her kids in daycare, have that career. She can make something, be somebody like a man. Be just like a man. She can have it all. Have a family, a career. Yeah, well, just like the cigarettes that they now say are harmful and dangerous. And they used to say that was cool, smoke cigarettes, especially you women. You got your own cigarette now, baby. That was the advertisements. Most of you don't remember that, but I saw it as a child. They pushed that women's lib so far that women aren't even raising their own kids. And like Ben here says, how can we actually believe, and I've said this before, that it's more important for her to go out there and make $1 and make something of herself than it is to raise these kids that came from her own body. And that is what she's actually here for. I mean, just like a man is here to provide and protect and keep her safe so she can have a family, so they can have a family. We've got the narrative now so that it's more important to have stuff and put your kids in daycare. That's the thing to do. That's what everybody's doing, so that's what we're supposed to do. Just like smoking cigarettes was the big thing. You were supposed to do that because it's cool. They had commercials about it. They had famous people they used to promote the cigarettes. Now we have excuse me. Now we have too much dust on the job yesterday. Now we have famous people promoting that, yes, baby, you can have it all. Go out there and have it all. Of the 20th richest people in the world, women, the 20th richest women in the world, only one of them made it on her own. The rest of them got it from a man. Women are not made to go out there and conquer the world as men are. They are made to raise children, to raise champions. What could be more important than raising your own children? But yet, we put them in daycare and let the minimum wage daycare worker raise our kids. So they spend more time with our kids than we do. I believe that the value of motherhood and being a wife in the U.S. has been belittled and diminished and tarnished for years, since the women's liberation started. I've seen it. I've lived through it. Women don't even know how to be good wives anymore. But you know why? And I understand why. Because it's such a belittled, let's call it a profession, that they don't want to know how. They want to go out there and go to college and get that big CEO job and be somebody. They will never find happiness there. Now, I'm not saying there aren't outliers and some women who will, but the majority of women do not find fulfillment and happiness in that. Women are more geared toward relationships, building families. And when they do that, that's when they're the happiest. How many women we have on antidepressants in the United States now? There's a bunch of them. They've been telling women that they can go out and be like men. They can't be like men without serious repercussions or consequences. Women are different. They thrive on different things. They receive fulfillment from different things than men do. But women at home with the children are not out there spending money. They're not consuming. They want the women to be consuming, so they push this narrative. And who suffers for it? The children. And who is the future of our country and of the world? The children. Shouldn't we be putting more effort into them than out there putting in effort on our jobs so we can be somebody and satisfy a boss? How much energy does a woman have left for her husband and her family after she works all day trying to please the man, which is her boss? Maybe she has a woman that's the boss, but the higher up you go, you'll find that men are running everything. Yeah, I know the women say it's the patriarchy, it's terrible, it's oppression. Well, that's just the way it is. As I say, you don't have to like that the sun blinds you when it comes up in the morning if you look at it, but you better put on a pair of sunglasses because that's the way it is. So, what are they sacrificing? The lives of their children. How can a woman feel good about herself? Do you understand how many women I've talked to that say, I would like to stay home and raise my kids. I would like to be a homemaker. Well, they would, but then they get ridiculed. One of my ex-wives, people would ask her, well, what do you do? Well, I stay home and raise the kids. Well, don't you work? Right there. That's common. Don't you work? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You raise those kids until they're big enough to get out of the house. 18 years or more sometimes. No days off, no vacations, nothing. Now, what kind of a career can top that? And that's hard work. If a woman goes to work, she works 8 hours a day. Let's say she works 10, which is unusual. 24 hours a day with kids. I've raised my kids by myself for the last 11 years. There's no days off. There's no weekends off. There's no vacations. I did get to get away a little bit when they got older, a couple days, okay? In the middle of the night, they have a problem, you wake up. I've changed diapers, I've done all that stuff. I've walked with sick kids at night when I had to go to work the next day, call the nurse line to the hospital, they had a fever, I'd have to take them up there. I've done all that, so I know how it is. For me to go to work, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing, is a lot easier than for a woman to stay home and take care of those kids. And it is not given near the admiration and recognition that it should get. And why? Because women at home aren't out there consuming and spending money and paying tax dollars. Think about that. But we've sacrificed the future of our nation and of the world for money, for material stuff. I hear women say, I'd like to stay home, but I can't. It takes both our incomes. Yeah, guess what? If you live in a $500,000 home or $1 million home, and you got 2 Escalades out on the drive and a boat down at the lake, a couple jet skis and whatever, yeah, it does take both your incomes. And of course, you're paying daycare also. Yes, it does. Obviously. When I was growing up, the only people that had large houses were the doctors. There were 3 or 4 of them in town here. And now those houses are nothing compared to what these young couples are building for themselves. And then they wonder why they have to work. But that's what the women are pushed to do. I very seldom hear a woman now being raised up saying she wants to be a wife or a mother. She's talking about going to college and getting some worthless degree that she can't use, usually, and then having a big college debt to pay off. Once again, who does that benefit? Benefits the colleges, the system. The system is not for the family. And then we can get into how they support unwed mothers, how easy it is for a person to just have a baby now and just go down and sign up at the DFS office. She's got a father, the man, the government, Uncle Sam. The solution? What is the solution? The solution is for you and I as men to start being men again. Why do you think the system and all these things that are falling apart have happened? Because of weak men. Jordan Peterson talks about it. Weak men. And that's not necessarily physically weak. It's weak character. These men supplicate to women to give them what they want when they realize that women don't know what they want. Women don't really know what they want. Men need to lead. Oh my God, I can hear it now. You know how many times I'm called a misogynist? Is it wrong that I think women should be provided for and protected by men? Is it wrong that I think if the ship's going down, the men should give their lives for the women and the children? No, that's okay. They don't complain about that. But they complain when a man like me talks about women being traditional housewives and mothers, when everyone knows that children raised up, and statistically it's proven, in a mother and a father household together with the children, it's the best for the kids. Have I been able to give my kids that? No. Because in the U.S., if a woman doesn't like things, she can just go down and file for divorce. No fault divorce. No reason. She can go out and commit adultery. That's okay too. She wants to be free. That's okay too. And every one of those women that left me wished they could come back, but I wouldn't let them come back. They told me I was a good father and a good husband. Except for my first wife. I wasn't a very good husband. I didn't have any kids because I knew I was too selfish for that. But even her, I could have gotten her back after we split up. The point I'm making here is, I'm not belittling women. I know it sounds like I am, but I'm not. Women can do things I will never be able to do. But women are not leaders. In general, I'm sure there are some outliers, exceptions to the rule, but in general they're not. But they're having to be leaders because men are becoming weak and feminine, and they're not leading. That's how they get these laws in the court system that gives man total responsibility for the family, but no authority. I don't believe in abusing women. I don't believe a man should be able to beat his woman with a rod as long as it's no bigger than his thumb, the rule of thumb. But I do believe the man has to have the authority in the home because the woman doesn't want it. She doesn't want to be equal partners with her man. That's bullshit. She wants to feel equal with everyone except her man. When it comes down to it, the woman doesn't want to have to make the hard decisions. Let's give you an example. Let's think of one right here. You got two sick kids, okay? They're both really sick. They both need hospital care, but your insurance doesn't cover both of them equally. You have to make a choice. Which kid is going to get the care? You think the woman wants to make that choice? No, she doesn't. She's going to look at the husband and say, what should we do, honey? And the man will make that damn decision, and he will live with it regardless if one of the children die or not. He will make that decision. And if you can't make a decision like that, then you're not much of a man. Tough decision, yeah. May have a hard time living with it, yes. In war, men kill men, women, and children. They don't like it, but they do it. Now that's what they're referred to as toxic masculinity, and even lesser things than that. But women beg for toxic masculinity when they're being assaulted on the street. They want their man to be toxically masculine when the robber breaks into the house and tries to kill their children or tries to kill her. Then it's okay. We need to wake up as men and become men again. Women are saying, I can't find a good man. But yet women have pushed men to be like this. But yet it's men's fault because they supplicate to the women to get their approval. You don't need a woman's approval. You don't need anyone's approval. You had to have it when you were growing up. You needed your mother's approval. You needed all those teachers' approval. And you've been programmed to believe that you have to get women's approval. You don't need it. You need your approval. Outside approval's nice. It's great. I love it. I love admiration. I love praise. I love approval. But you don't need it. You need inner approval from yourself. And that's what's happened, though. too many people, too many men in positions of leadership supplicating to women to get what they wanted from them, which may have been sex, approval, validation, attention, whatever it happens to be. And they allow these laws to be made, which more and more give women power over men and power in the relationship. In some states, I think Florida, if you're married for 10 years, the woman gets lifetime alimony. But yet they want to claim to be strong and independent women until the divorce comes about. And how many times does the man get the children? To get the children in my state, if you go through a divorce, you damn near have to prove that the ex-wife is an axe murderer. And then she's still going to get visitation. Because the court system is so involved. Doesn't matter what she does. Doesn't matter if she was having sex with someone in front of your kids at the house and you prove it, they'll still give her the kids. Or if she's a drug addict, she'll check herself into rehab. She comes out, they give her the kids. I mean, it's incredible. If the man wants the kids, even if he's the better one of the two, they will give them to the mother. Now, I don't know how all states are, but that's how it is here. And you young men need to know these things. You really need to go talk to people who have been through divorce before you decide to get married, because you're making a hell of a sacrifice or a risk and very low reward. I believe in marriage. I've been married 4 times. Obviously, I believe in it. But I don't believe in the institution of marriage in the U.S. Now, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, yeah, because people stay together and they work it out. But here's how it works. You get married, and if one of them doesn't want to stay, you can't stop them. There's no incentive for them to stay. Actually, the government gives them incentive, the woman, for her to leave. It offers her incentives for her to leave by what she's going to take when she goes. The child support, and I believe a man should support his children, doesn't go by what it takes to support the kids. It goes by the man's income. So the more you make, the more they're going to take from you. And I'll guarantee you, after raising my 6 kids by myself for the last 11 years, it does not take near as much to raise them myself as it would if I paid child support. I didn't get any child support. Never have. I've paid it years ago from one of my other ex-wives I had a child with, but for these last 6 kids, nobody's given me child support. I don't want it. If you're going to take the kids, you should be able to support them without the other partner's help. That's the way I look at it. Okay, that's my rant for the day. Young men, you need to be wary of getting married. Vet carefully. Be selective. Let that in love stage wear off before you decide to get married. And ask yourself, are you marrying because she's a suitable partner? Forget about the love. This in love stuff is bullshit. That passes after time. The real love starts when you don't feel like you're in love with her anymore. And part of the problem there, I'm ranting a little more. Part of the problem there is women are so into feels before reals. They don't feel like they love you. Well, guess what? Ask anybody who's been married for years and years, and they will say there's been many times in a relationship when they didn't feel like they loved their partner. The difference is, a man logically knows that that is just a feeling and it will pass. A woman thinks that that means it's over. And they're encouraged in today's society to, well, you know, if you're not happy, you need to do what's best for yourself. But the man needs to do what's best overall. But they always tell the woman, do what's right for you. But the man just needs to do what's right. Things to think about if you're thinking about getting married, okay? And as I said, I'm not against marriage, just not here in the U.S. Go to a country where men are still valued and respected. All right? That's all I got time for today. Thanks for listening to my rant. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.